Hey, what's up, Nova Gang? Today I'm just gonna bringing you guys what I want to call a Devlog Zero. Essentially, I'm just gonna be talking about some concepts that I brought up for a game that I want to make. Now, let me put this into perspective. I have absolutely zero experience with game development, and I have very little experience with coding, and that experience was like a long time ago. I essentially don't remember anything. So, I just want to show you guys the ideas. Eventually, they will be able to get done, but for now, they're just ideas. I will try to implement them slowly. Let's get started. As for the name of the game, I just thought of Hollow Heart. Really? There's no inspiration for the name. It's just an idea that I thought of. I want to make an MMORPG, which is heavily inspired from other games or manga. I've been reading this novel called Omniscient Reader, and that greatly inspired one of the major systems in the game. If you've read it, then you know about the Constellation or Sponsor system, and that is pretty much what this is, but I'm going to try and change the name and change up a few things about it so that it doesn't, interfere. So it's going to have a full story, like fully complete. This is a typo. So the story, I haven't really thought of any storytelling or anything like that. Basically, the story is just going to be, it's going to be about these sponsors. I'm not sure exactly what I want to call them yet, but they're going to be the driving force in what the character and what you do as a character. Your sponsor will play a major role in your story. Everyone's story will be different, although the final quest, no matter what happens, will be the same. I want it to be an extremely hardcore game. This game is not going to be built for casual players. It is going to be hard. I honestly don't know how much I can say this. Like, casual players are probably not going to enjoy the game simply because they won't be able to handle what it takes to play. Now, let me put this in perspective for you. I plan on making a game where PvP is always on. Even though the main point of the game isn't for PvP, I want it to be a thing that you always have to worry about no matter where you go. Now, there will be some pros and cons to doing PvP. There's also going to be permadeath. Now, there's going to be a permadeath game mode where you can set the game mode to a character, and if that character dies, that character will be deleted from the server forever. There's no way to get it back. Now, whenever you die, you lose all of the gear that you have on you. If you die to a player, they get all of your gear. If you die to a monster or NPC, all of your gear will be damaged whenever you get it, and you have to go and repair it. And depending on the rarity of the gear, that changes like how much, like what you need to do to get it repaired. So like if it's higher quality gear, it's either gonna have like a higher gold cost or a higher just like requirement in general for it to be repaired. Now, the reputation system with sponsors. This system is going to be probably the most intricate system in the game besides the story. There's going to be a lot going into how your sponsor is selected and how the reputation system works. So, like it says here, it'll be the main driving force of the game. So basically, probably about an hour or two, I probably will set it, close to the beginning of the game. You will be given an option to select your sponsor. Now, I want to make it to where it's not too close to the beginning, but also but also close enough where it doesn't feel like you've gone half the game without selecting your sponsor. Basically, what this person might be is they might be a historical figure, they might be a mythological god, something like that. Someone who represents something. I'll also probably make some up as we go, or as I go through the game. I might even make one of myself. I don't know. Now for the reputation system, this has two meanings. One part of the reputation system will be your alignment with either good or evil. Now, obviously, this number will be, or this scale will be kept as a number, and it will change invisibly as you perform acts throughout the game world. So, let's say if you kill another player, you will lose, or you will become more evil. Right? You know, that's pretty simple. That's pretty much one of the main ways to become evil, is to just straight up kill another player without it being in self-defense. A way that you can gain alignment or become good is doing quests with other players, killing players, or killing evil players, I should say. And also, I mean, that's pretty much all that I got for that as of now. There is a whole bunch of stuff that is going to go into this. I plan on making the system very, very detailed, but it is all going to be invisible to the player. They are not going to know what their number is, but basically, depending on their number, changes the sponsors that they have access to. Now, since this is all at the beginning of the game, it's going to be pretty hard. Now, there's going to be some side quests, which, depending on whether you do them or not, will also invisibly change your reputation. You will not know this. But some of these side quests are going to change your alignment whenever you do them. So, like, say a side quest has you kill a certain NPC. Let's say that NPC is aligned with good. You're going to be more evil. You're going to have access to evil sponsors. And then other subquests will unlock certain sponsors. So it's going to be very detailed. It's going to take a long time for players to learn how the sponsor system works. And of course, you're going to have a few characters, so you're going to have a few tries, because once you get your sponsor, you're stuck with it for the rest of the server time. And I'll get into that later. So, a player-driven economy with an auction house system and player trading. I feel like that's a fairly simple idea to grasp. Basically, it's just, your auction house. If you've ever played RuneScape, they have the Grand Exchange. If you've ever played Escape from Tarkov, that game has the flea market. They have something like it in WoW. I don't really know what it's called. I think it might just be called the auction house, but it's similar to all of those. So a large variety of bosses, each of which have their own unique gear. So one of the main ways that you're going to get your strong equipment for the area is going to be by grinding bosses. So bosses, of course, will drop. They have a chance to drop. The bosses are going to have different drop tables. If you've ever played RuneScape, it'll be similar to those. Now, I know that other games have them. It's just I'm thinking about RuneScape whenever I talk about this. So they'll have a multitude of drop tables. The first drop table will be probably drops that you can get just about anywhere else. It'll just drop in a higher quantity. Now, their next drop table will be some of the rarer items that you will get out in the world, but it'll be lower quantities of them. And then you have their unique drop tables. So let's say for a boss's armor, right? That'll have the highest chance of dropping each of the pieces out of their uniques. And then you have the weapon. It'll have a lower chance. And then every single boss in the game is going to have a unique skill. Okay. I'm not really going to get into how all of that works, but anyways, that's just the boss system. Every boss is going to be completely different as far as the mechanics work, so there will be a lot of them. I also plan on adding raids, so Every raid will have different mechanics. There's going to be a lot of bosses and raids just because of how the system works. There's going to be skilling, your jobs, professions, like mining, cutting down trees, crafting and blacksmithing. So it's going to be similar to other games that you've played, just for you to get like crafting materials. Let's talk about the blacksmithing system for a bit. That's probably the one that I put the most thought into. Everything is going to have a leaderboard, whether it's different bosses or skills. So blacksmithing. Everyone will have a hidden XP bar. There's going to be a lot of hidden bars in this game if you cannot tell. So your blacksmithing bar is going to keep track of how much you've blacksmithed. Like how much you've smithed different things. Different items will give different amounts of XP depending on the difficulty of the items to obtain and then how hard it was to make them. So I'm going to try to make this a very thought out system for it to be worth doing, right? Because you're going to be able to make materials to trade to other players. And so it'll be, pretty good for money making, but probably not as good as combat. I plan on combat being very good. So the ability system. This kind of goes hand in hand. So your abilities, you will get most of your abilities from your sponsor with the reputation system that they have. So a lot of abilities that you have, other players won't have, and a lot of abilities that other players have, you probably won't have. So it's definitely going to be a give and take system. There's a very good chance that your player or your character will be a lot weaker than someone else's, simply just because you didn't get a good sponsor. And I'm going to try and make the sponsor choosing as confusing as possible. I don't want it to be simple. I don't want it to be easy. I think the way that I'm going to do the sponsors is they each have their own little phrase that describes them, and that's what you see. And then you can do a quest later on that will tell you who they are. That'll be like a side quest, or actually no, I'll probably make it part of the main quest. And so yeah, you choose your sponsor and you see a phrase. So let's say your sponsor is Jack the Ripper, right? He'd be evil, okay? His phrase might be the Killer of London. Okay? I mean, it'll be pretty easy to guess who that is, but some people's won't be as easy. And so with the abilities that he might give you, you might have an advantage in PvP and killing other players. So, but he might have disadvantages to using swords, and he might be stronger with using knives, or just assassinating players. So there's that to think about. Some items will be very limited. We're going to have lots of limited items in the game. So let's say there's a really cool sword in the game. It's a legendary sword. Chances are, if you don't get it from the main quest, there's only going to be one of it in the server. Now, I know that sounds absolutely insane. One of an item in a game that could be huge. So that's why there's going to be other items which aren't going to be as strong, but they will be severely limited. Now, there will also be weaker versions of the item that there's only one of. There'll be weaker versions that you will get from completing the same quests that you would get that item from. Usually the items that only one player can have, they're going to be completed from different side quests, and it'll just be the first person on the server that completes that side quest will get the item. going to be lots of secrets that you will need to know to progress in the game very quickly. So, knowledge of the game is going to be very important. And you might think knowledge, well, the game's going to be going on. Well, there's going to be a reset system, essentially. So, knowing how the game works and what you need to do to progress and what kind of secrets that you can take advantage of and what kind of things that you can complete first and faster than all the other players will greatly give you an advantage in the system. Now the ending. The ending is something that I've thought about quite a bit, but I still can't quite grasp what I want to do with it. So the ending is going to reset the server. I'm thinking of putting the game into sort of timer mode. After the first player that beats the game gets the item, the Hollow Heart. As you can see, it's the title of the game. The Hollow Heart is going to be an item that carries over with the player through server resets. Now, I'm thinking making the timer about a week so that other players have a chance of beating the game. Once they see that that timer has gone off, they might think, oh no, I need to go into overdrive and try and complete the game. So, yeah. I also didn't talk about your attributes, which are going to be like your main 5 skills. I didn't put this anywhere on here. That's on me. Let me go ahead and talk about that real quick. So normal games have an XP-based system. This game, you guessed it, is going to have an invisible XP bar. For all of your attributes, you have like strength, dexterity. I'm going to keep it very simple. There's only going to be about 5. I'm probably going to base it off of Omniscient Reader's attribute system. So, or I say base it, but also not. So everyone's base stats are going to be 1. Instead of like a combat level, right? You're going to have an average of all of your skills. So, of all of your combat skills. So, your attributes are just going to be your average. Okay? So, I said there's going to be PvP. Well, on each of the levels, there's going to be a limit to who you can fight. Right? So, if you're on floor 1, which is what I'm going to be calling all of the different levels, I'm going to be calling them floors. If you're on floor 1, you can only participate on PvP if you're within a certain range. It's probably an average skill of 10 to an average skill of 1, right? Just so that higher level players who have like super OP gear and are like average level 100 can't just come to the first level and kill players over and over again. But that's about all that I got. If you guys have any ideas or something that you want to, or you want to give me, I don't know, inspiration for something, or you want to help me in any way, put it down in the comments and it will be greatly appreciated. I'm completely open to ideas. As I said, I have no experience in game creation. I have no experience in story development. I have no experience in anything. So anything that you guys say will probably be helpful. This is just a quick devlog that I decided to come up with. And I hope to make this game a reality. I know it's going to be a very slow process. And I hope that some of you guys will stick with me through the way. Alright. Well, it was fun making this. Peace.